When you look at Penn State offensively, do you look at what they've shot over the past couple games and go, maybe we're going to get that, or do you look at what you know that they can produce?
Well, I think you look at numbers come into play a little bit, but also you look at number of possessions, pace of play, those type of things, how other teams were playing them. So there are a lot of things that go into what you analyze a team offensively about, and obviously they've been scoring at a high rate. So we had to be very good defensively, starting with our transition, and I thought for the most part we were good in transition. There was a couple. We let guys get loose for threes, and some of them didn't go down, that they had some looks early in transition. But for the most part, I thought we were able to get our defense set, which is important.
Greg, I think you were very unhappy the other night with defensively. What probably safe to say that effort on that end of the court was much different or much better today?
Well, the effort was fine the other night. There wasn't a lack of effort. The execution wasn't very good, so we didn't change anything. We didn't invent any new defense today. It's just we did what we always do, but we did it better, and that was the main difference. We did what we normally do better today.
Greg, not to single out people, but can you talk about the job that Potter did both ends of the court and what Davison gave you without shooting the ball all that way?
Yeah, it was obviously we can always take contributions off the bench, and we had to balance foul trouble there at the 4 and the 5 with Nate and Aleem having some foul trouble. But I also liked what Micah throw foul trouble out. I just liked what Potter gave us, and I like what Tyler Wall gave us. I thought Trevor Anderson gave us some great minutes off the bench, and Brad, obviously on the glass, that was terrific in terms of what he did. And that bigs are a lot of times engaged with the other bigs, so you need guards to crack down and clean up some of those rebounds at times, and you have to have a toughness about you to not worry about whether you're going to get hit with an elbow or knocked around a little bit, and he's as tough as they come.
Coach, Mike Watkins for Penn State was held without a point tonight. What do you think you guys did on the defensive end to limit him?
Well, it's a team. Obviously, effort in terms of it starts with ball pressure, making sure we're trying to minimize the touches, keep the ball out of there, and then if it does get in, where can we help from? Can we squeeze a little bit here and there? And then I thought we did a good job of keeping both him and Lamar off the glass. But it's, the two bigs had the assignment, obviously individually, but collectively it's how we have to defend as a team.
Do you feel like you have 9 guys that are essentially starters, that you could play starters minutes at this point?
Yeah. I mean, we scrimmage a lot of times now because of our coaching staff injuries and Hedstrom having surgery on his knee, and we go the first 5 versus the second 5, throwing McGrory in the second 5, and a lot of times the second 5 beats the first 5, so practices get a little fiery once in a while, which is good. It's competitive. But yeah, like I said, in order to have a good team, you've got to hopefully have contributions coming from many areas, and this group is starting to understand what everybody's role is and embrace that.
Greg, you were asked after the loss to Illinois about not being able to build on momentum from Ohio State, and you said, doesn't matter, we know what comes next. What does winning today here against a team that was unbeaten at home and coming off a loss tell you about your team? Or maybe you already knew it, though.
Well, I think we've learned, Jeff, over November and December to be more resilient in games. We talked about that last week at the press conference. We'd have adversity hit us early in the year, and we didn't react to it well or respond to it well within a game, and that a lot of times gets placed on shooting. If you don't shoot it well, how do you react to it? So I think this team has continued to mature a little bit, and you have to, in this league, you turn the page quick, whether you play well like we did against Ohio State or, I don't want to discredit Illinois. I mean, that's a good team. This league is, there's no easy nights, and so you have to, whether you have success or you stumble a little bit, you got to quickly turn the page and move on, and we will from this. We'll watch the film, do our review tomorrow, and it'll be quickly turned to Maryland tomorrow afternoon.
Greg, I want to ask you about where Penn State is, and if you can maybe look back a little bit. You got to Wisconsin in 2001. That's really kind of early on when your program became a national power, getting in the tournament every year.
Mm-hmm.
There's long been a feeling here that, well, Wisconsin did this. Penn State could do this at some point. Do you see any comparisons to maybe where Wisconsin or where Penn State has gotten to over the last couple of years and what Pat's doing here with what Wisconsin was doing in the late 90s and early 2000s?
Well, to give you a history lesson, it started before we got there in 01. It took a long time. I mean, Stu Jackson really kind of started convincing people that you could have success at Wisconsin in basketball. And then Coach Bennett came in and built on that and set a foundation. And then obviously Coach Ryan did a phenomenal job growing it more. So it takes a long time, and it's a complete commitment from the whole university and specifically obviously the athletic department. I think Pat's done a great job. And I told the team, we talked in my pregame about, obviously I've been in the league. Me, Painter, and Izzo maybe are the three oldest in terms of an assistant. I mean, not as a head coach, but McCaffrey maybe. But, well, McCaffrey hasn't been there 18 years. But just understanding the first thing that he changed when he came here was the culture and how hard they play. And that in this league, you have to play hard or you're going to get your, socks knocked off. So I think he's continued to build on that, and obviously he's gotten good players. And they've got a really good team. I mean, so I think, but it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Everybody wants instant gratification, and it's hard to win at a high level. And when you can do it consistently, that's a rare. You're in the upper echelon of college basketball. But I think, like I said, he's got things cemented in the right position in terms of the culture and those type of things, how they play. He understands how to compete in this league. And there's going to be ebbs and flows. I mean, we all go through it. We went through a down year a couple years ago. It's hard. It's not easy as everybody thinks it is. So he's doing a really good job with this team, and they're talented.
Greg, I'm guessing Penn State's scouting report didn't have Potter shooting threes as well as he did. Were you at all surprised by the comfort with which he looked taking them today and hit them?
Yeah, he's done some of that. He did some of that last year when he was sitting out and playing on the scout team. He knocked down some when he played a shooting big like that. So he has that. The first half, obviously, he hit them all in the first half. So the depth perception of where he was on the floor all the time, I couldn't see the line with the light reflection. And there was a couple, oh no, as the ball went, and then it was like, oh, nice shot in terms of, but he got confident, and that's a big thing with players. When they're confident, they play really well, and then you got to continue to try to build on that. And when somebody's struggling with their confidence, then you got to try to help them get it back. And it's all confidence for the most part is about 99% internally generated. So coach can say a few things, but they can't do everything.